The station was older than most stars people could see from its windows. It floated in deep space, like a silent city made of metal and light. Many species lived and worked there, tall ones, wide ones, scaled ones, and floating ones. They came from worlds with heavy gravity, light gravity, or no gravity at all. The station floor was made to adjust for all of them. It was strong, smart, and ancient. Humans were new. They arrived quietly, in small ships that looked too simple for such a grand place. Most aliens did not notice at first. When they did, they laughed. Humans were short compared to many species. They had soft bodies, thin limbs, and no natural armor. They did not glow. They did not float. They did not click, or hum, or shine. They just walked. The way humans walked was strange. Their steps were light but firm. Their feet hit the floor in a steady rhythm. Heel first, then full contact, then push. Aliens watched and smiled in amusement. Some said humans looked like they were always about to fall. Others said their steps sounded weak, like tapping on old glass. Many believed humans would never matter on the station. One day, the central hall filled with delegates. The hall was wide and tall, with a clear ceiling that showed the stars. Light panels moved slowly across the floor, changing color with the mood of the room. Today, the colors were calm blue and silver. A public meeting was about to begin. Aliens took their places. Some sat. Some hovered. Some wrapped their limbs around tall seats. The air hummed with soft sounds and low voices. Near the back of the hall, a human woman waited. Her name was Lena. She wore a simple, dark uniform. No sharp edges, no bright symbols. Her hair was tied back. Her face was calm, but her eyes were alert. She had been told to walk to the center platform when her species was called. She could feel the eyes on her already. A few aliens noticed her and made small sounds of laughter. Others whispered. Some did not care at all. The floor beneath her boots was smooth and cool. It felt solid, but Lena had learned long ago that solid things could still fail. When the call finally came, it was spoken in a clear, neutral voice. "Human delegate, step forward." The hall grew quiet. Lena took a breath and began to walk. Her first step echoed softly. Tap. A few aliens smiled. Her second step followed. Tap. The sound was gentle but clear in the large space. Some aliens leaned toward each other. One tall creature shook its head in mock pity. Humans had walked on the station before. Nothing had ever happened. The floor did not react to them. It barely noticed them. Or so everyone thought. Lena kept walking. Her boots touched the floor in steady rhythm, not fast, not slow, balanced, controlled. Tap, tap, tap. The light panels under her feet stayed calm. Blue, silver, glue. Then, as her foot touched a darker panel near the center, something changed. So small that no one reacted. The light flickered. Just once. A soft pulse ran through the floor. Like a quiet breath, Lena felt it through her boot. A strange feeling, like the ground had shifted slightly to meet her. She stopped for a moment, confused. The hall remained silent. No alarms, no lights, no movement. Laughter returned, low and dismissive. She continued walking. High above the hall, behind thick, clear walls, a group of station engineers froze. Their screens showed numbers that should not move. "That should not change," he said slowly. Then a third. The floor responded, she whispered. "Impossible," someone else said. "The adaptive system does not trigger for human mass." It did not respond to mass, the first engineer said. It responded to pattern. Below, Lena reached the platform and stood still. The meeting continued. Voices filled the air again. Most aliens forgot about her footsteps within seconds, but the station did not forget. Deep within its structure, old systems stirred. Layers of code written long before the station had a name began to run again. They were made to listen, to learn, to adapt. And something about the human step had matched an old rule. Lena stood calmly while others spoke. She listened. She waited. She felt the floor under her feet, steady but not silent. There was a strange sense of awareness beneath her, like standing on the back of a sleeping giant. When the meeting ended, she turned and walked back the same way she came. Tap, 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 tap. This time, one alien near the aisle felt a faint vibration and frowned. "What was that?" it muttered. Another alien checked the floor with a scanning limb. The reading showed nothing wrong. Lena left the hall and returned to the human section of the station. Hours passed. In maintenance corridors far from public view, lights dimmed and brightened without command. Gravity plates adjusted slightly, then corrected themselves. Doors hesitated for a fraction of a second when humans approached, then opened smoothly. No alarms sounded. The engineers argued quietly. "It is learning," one said. "It should not be able to," another replied. "The system was designed to adapt to unknown species," the first said. "Humans are unknown in the right way." In her small living space, Lena removed her boots and sat down. She rubbed her feet, tired but calm. She did not know why she felt watched. She looked at the floor. Nothing looked different, yet deep below, the station recorded her movement, her balance, her rhythm, her pauses, her corrections. It compared them to thousands of species. None matched. The station adjusted a fraction of a percent. No one noticed. Not yet. Far away, an old power node warmed for the first time in centuries. Just once. And this time, the station remembered the sound of human footsteps. The station never slept, but that night felt different. Lights moved in soft waves across the floors, but some panels flickered where no one had walked. Maintenance crews checked the systems again and again, but every reading returned normal. No alarms, no errors, just tiny, unexplained pulses in the circuits. Lena walked through the human section early the next morning. Her steps were quiet on the polished floor. The air was cool and smelled faintly of metal and recycled water. She noticed nothing unusual, yet she felt a strange weight in the silence. Something was watching, and she did not need eyes to know it. The station was alive in a way she could sense. It responded when she moved, but subtly, almost like it was learning, observing, waiting. She met another human, older and stronger, in the narrow corridors. His name was Rian. He had been on the station longer and had learned some of the customs and dangers. Ryan walked differently than Lena. His steps were heavy but precise, careful to avoid unnecessary noise. When he noticed her pause, he gave a small nod. "They watch," he said quietly. "Not us, not the people. The station watches humans."
"I've felt it before." Lena frowned.
"It watches, but it doesn't attack or block." Rian shook his head. "Not yet."
"But it reacts. You are different from the others."
"The station remembers your movements." Lena's brow creased. "My movements?" Rian gestured to the floor. "The tiles, the pressure plates, the circuits. They all respond to weight, rhythm, and balance. but humans are small. You wouldn't think we could trigger anything. Yet the station reacted to your first step yesterday. She remembered the faint flicker under her boot, the pulse that had traveled through the floor like a whisper. A shiver ran down her spine. It felt alive. She had not realized it at the time, but now she understood. The floor had noticed her. "I thought the systems were dormant," she said. "Engineers said it was ancient tech, older than anyone here remembers. Why would it care about me?" Rian shrugged. "Maybe it always waited for someone like us. Someone who walks like a human. Someone who adapts to change constantly. Our species evolved to adjust to unstable surfaces. That might be why the station reacts." They continued walking side by side. The corridor twisted and curved through the station like a river of light and metal. Floor panels shifted under their weight, responding not just to pressure, but to patterns. Lena felt it. Sometimes the floor seemed softer, sometimes harder. Sometimes it pulled slightly beneath her step, as if testing her balance. Meanwhile, in the central control room, engineers watched their screens. Data ran faster than eyes could follow. Numbers fluctuated in patterns no one had ever seen. A senior engineer leaned back, rubbing his temples. "This cannot be right," he said. "The floor network responds to humans? The system should ignore us. It should ignore anyone under 70 kilograms. A younger engineer shook her head. "It doesn't respond to mass. It responds to movement style, to balance and rhythm. It's recognizing humans as something unique." Outside the observation glass, Lena and Rian walked past. Neither noticed the tiny pulses that ran from the tiles to the walls. Tiny lights glimmered as they passed. Gravity plates adjusted slightly. Doors hesitated, then opened smoothly. Every step left a trace, though invisible to normal sensors. Rian stopped at a junction. "We should test it, not for fun, to understand it, but carefully. The station may not see us as dangerous, but it is aware, and awareness is unpredictable."
Lena nodded. What kind of test?
"Just walk. Walk as naturally as you can. Walk differently. Walk like you are alone. See what the station does." They began to walk slowly, then faster, then in unusual patterns. Tap, 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 step after step. Lena felt the floor shift beneath her. It responded. Sometimes it rose slightly, supporting her. Sometimes it pulled her foot back. A subtle resistance, almost playful. "What is it doing?" Lena whispered. Rian looked around. "Learning. Observing. Testing us in return." Then the lights above flickered briefly. A low hum ran through the hall. The air vibrated faintly. Lena and Rian froze. The hum grew louder for a moment, then faded. The hall returned to normal. "Did you feel that?" Lena asked. "Yes," Rian said. "It notices us. It reacts when we move differently. It is alive, in a sense." They continued their walking tests for hours. Every step caused slight changes. Floors adjusted. Gravity plates shifted. Some corridors seemed to bend subtly, making walking easier for them and harder for anyone else who tried to follow. The station's AI, long dormant, began to activate quietly in response. Elsewhere, alien scientists began to notice anomalies. Systems that should have been fixed months ago started working differently. Doors that were stuck opened smoothly. Lift mechanisms aligned themselves without command. Lights adjusted automatically. Aliens whispered in fear and excitement. "They are humans," one tall alien said, voice trembling. "They move, and the station obeys them. Why? No one knows, another replied. They are small. They are weak. They should not matter, yet they do. Something is happening we cannot understand. Back with Lena and Rian, they reached the old observation deck. From here, the entire station could be seen in layers of metal and light, floors stacked like levels in a giant hive. Lena stepped forward carefully. Tap. The floor responded. A wave of light spread across panels in response to her pressure and rhythm. A soft vibration ran through the deck. Ryan stepped after her. Tap, tap. The pattern became more complex. Light and energy flowed along the old circuits, unseen but undeniable.
It's beautiful. It's alive, Rian said quietly. And it listens to us.
The station is not like anything we imagined. It has been waiting. But they spent the night walking through different corridors, testing patterns, varying steps, pausing, speeding up, slowing down. Each human step created small ripples in the system. Some lights flickered in response. Some doors hesitated, then opened. Gravity plates shifted slightly, aligning for their movement. The station seemed to wake slowly, observing, understanding. By morning, the engineers had compiled hours of data. Screens displayed patterns of response unique to humans. One engineer shook her head. It is adapting for them. The station has chosen humans without permission. Another said, it does not know why yet, but it will learn. And when it does, it will be unpredictable. Lena and Rian walked back to the human living section, tired but aware of their significance. They did not speak much. Each felt the strange awareness that they were being observed, not by eyes, but by the station itself. In a quiet chamber far below, old circuits began to hum with energy for the first time in centuries. Tiny lights flashed along ancient wiring. Systems long thought dead adjusted themselves subtly. The station was preparing for something. Something humans could do. Something no other species could. Lena sat in her small room and removed her boots. She could still feel the floor beneath her feet, even though she was on a simple mat. The sensation was faint, but real. The station had left a trace of itself in her muscles, in her balance, in the rhythm of her walk. Rian joined her a few minutes later. Ah, it is learning from us, he said. Every step we take leaves a pattern. It remembers. Lena nodded. Do you think it will react the same way to others? Rian shook his head. No. We are special the way we move, the way we adjust. That is unique. The station sees us as important, far above. Lights in the central halls flickered again. Gravity plates shifted in corridors where no one walked. Systems checked themselves, ran diagnostics, then paused. It was subtle, almost invisible, but it was happening. The aliens on the station began to notice strange events, not dangerous, but odd. Doors opening without command, lights flickering when no one was near, gravity slightly stronger or weaker in empty corridors. Whispers grew among delegates.
Fear mixed with curiosity. They are humans, one alien said.
They walk and the station changes. They are small, but they affect everything. Yes, another replied. We laughed at them. We thought they were weak. But maybe we were wrong. Lena and Rian did not know how much they had changed the station. They only knew that their steps were no longer ordinary. Every movement left a mark. Every pause, every shift, every rhythm became part of the system. The station was alive in a quiet way, responding only to them. By evening, the hallways pulsed faintly in time with their movement patterns. Engineers reported minor adjustments in system responses. Aliens whispered nervously about humans. A few even began to avoid walking near them, sensing something they could not explain. Lena stood at a junction once more. She looked at Rianne. Bah!
We are being watched by the station, and we are changing it, whether it wants to or not. Rian nodded. Yes.
And the next step we take will matter even more. The station pulsed softly beneath them, alive, listening, and waiting. Humanity had arrived in a quiet way, through footsteps and balance, and the consequences had only begun. Lena had not expected anyone to test her so soon. The aliens on the station had begun to notice small changes, subtle reactions, and whispers had reached the council. Some wanted to study her. Others wanted to ignore her. But a group of alien scientists insisted on a controlled test. They wanted proof. They wanted to see if humans could truly affect the station without touching any controls. Early the next day, Lena and Rian were summoned to the central observation platform. It was a wide area, surrounded by floating seats, screens, and tall, thin figures that glimmered like glass. The platform itself was made of old tiles, part of the ancient system that Lena had already noticed reacting to her steps. The lead alien scientist, a pale, slender being named Chiron, explained the plan. "You will walk across this platform," he said. His voice had a calm authority, but his eyes flickered with nervousness. "We do not expect anything unusual. This is a test to record your movements. Please follow the path exactly." Lena looked at Rian. He shrugged slightly. "Just walk," he whispered. "Keep steady. The station is watching, but it is patient." She nodded. Her steps were quiet at first. Tap, tap, tap. She walked in the exact path marked on the floor. The lights in the platform glimmered softly under her boots, but nothing seemed to happen. The aliens watched closely, recording every movement. Rian followed after her. His steps were heavier than Lena's, but careful, calculated. Tap, tap, tap. The floor beneath him barely reacted, or at least it seemed not to. Then Lena stepped on the center panel. The floor shivered slightly under her weight. The lights beneath her flickered. Tap. A soft hum ran through the platform. The aliens leaned forward. Screens showed small spikes in energy, barely noticeable but unusual. One of the engineers gasped. "The panel. It reacted." "It shouldn't." Chiron froze. "Impossible. The system is designed to ignore humans. It should not react." The hum grew louder. A vibration traveled from the tiles beneath Lena's feet through the platform. It was subtle, almost gentle, but undeniable. Some of the aliens took a step back. Others held their hands to their faces, unable to hide their astonishment. Lena stopped and felt the platform beneath her. Her boots sank slightly into the surface, as if it had softened to match her weight and balance. She had never felt anything like this before. It was alive in a way she could sense with every step. "Keep walking," Rian whispered. "Do not stop for too long." She nodded and moved forward again. Tap, tap, dub, tap. The lights responded to each step now. They did not flicker randomly, but pulsed in rhythm with her movement. A wave of soft energy ran through the floor, rising and falling as she walked. The aliens around her could see the readings spiking on their displays. "This is extraordinary," Chiron muttered under his breath. "The system is responding to her pattern, not her weight. It is recognizing her." Some aliens whispered among themselves, "Weak, small, insignificant, and yet the station obeys her." Lena reached the edge of the platform. Tap, 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 dub, The hum under her boots grew slightly stronger. The lights shifted in patterns she did not control. The station's energy systems responded to her steps without any conscious thought from her. She realized that she did not need to try. She only needed to walk naturally. The station would do the rest. Rian followed close behind. Tap, 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 dub. He stepped in a pattern different from Lena's. The platform responded slightly to him as well, but less intensely. The station seemed to prefer her rhythm. It adapted to her first and responded to him second. Chiron spoke into a communicator. "Prepare emergency protocols," he said. "If this escalates, we may need to stabilize the platform manually. It could react unpredictably." Lena reached the far side of the platform and paused. She felt the vibrations beneath her fade, but they did not stop. The energy hum continued, flowing beneath the tiles like a quiet river. She realized the station had not just reacted, it had learned. "What is it doing?" Ryan whispered. "It is observing," Lena said softly. "It is learning our movements and adjusting itself. Every step we take matters." A loud vibration ran through the hall. Several aliens stumbled and grabbed supports. Some floating observers nearly collided with the walls. Alarms began to flash, red and yellow, but no sound came from the speakers. Lena's heart pounded. She had never experienced anything like this. Tap, tap, tap. She stepped carefully, trying not to disturb the floor further, but each step seemed to trigger more response. Lights pulsed brighter. Gravity plates adjusted slightly, pulling her in subtle ways, guiding her balance. And it was responding to her instinctively. Rian followed, more cautious now. His heavy step shook the platform slightly, but the station adjusted almost immediately. The tiles beneath him shifted minutely to support him. Every step was a negotiation between human and machine. The aliens panicked. Some shouted at each other, pointing at screens. "The system is out of control," one cried. "Shut it down." Chiron shook his head. Do not interfere. We do not understand what it is doing. If we touch it, it could escalate." Lena realized that trying to step too fast could trigger disaster. She slowed her pace. Tap, twide. Tap, tap. The floor responded less violently, but still with energy flowing beneath her feet. The platform began to stabilize as she adapted her steps to its reactions. The hum softened. The lights calmed. The aliens watched in awe and fear. None of them had ever seen anything respond to a human so completely. The station was ancient, designed to handle species far larger, heavier, and more powerful than humans. Yet here it was, bending to the rhythm of her walk. Rian whispered, "It trusts you. It listens to you more than it listens to anyone else." Lena nodded. She felt a strange connection to the platform, as if it had chosen her instinctively. She could feel the energy flowing beneath her boots, the pulse of circuits and power adjusting to her steps. Every movement mattered. Every pause mattered. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. The aliens slowly relaxed as the platform stabilized. Alarms ceased. Lights returned to their calm blue. Gravity plates returned to their normal state. Lena and Rian stepped off the platform. Tap, tap, tap. Their footsteps now felt ordinary again, but the station still hummed faintly in response to their passage. The observation screens recorded anomalies that engineers had never anticipated. Chiron approached them. His hand shook slightly. "It is learning from you, recording patterns, adjusting systems we believed were dormant. You are extraordinary." Lena did not answer. She was exhausted and overwhelmed, yet she could not stop thinking about the station. It was alive in a way no one had understood. It had observed her, responded to her steps, and adjusted itself. And it had remembered. Rian put a hand on her shoulder. We are not dangerous by intent, but the station now sees humans as something special. We must be careful. Lena nodded. She realized that everything had changed, not just for her, but for all humans. The station no longer ignored them. It listened. It responded. And it was waiting for them to act again. The aliens around them whispered nervously. Some began to take notes. Others left, unsure of what they had witnessed. The council would debate for days, perhaps weeks. But Lena and Rian understood something that no alien had yet grasped. Humans had a way of interacting with the station that no other species could match. As they walked back through the corridors, Lena felt every panel beneath her feet. Tap, tap, tap. Each step left a trace. Each step carried energy and rhythm that the station would remember. The hum beneath the floors was faint but alive. It was patient. It was waiting for the next movement. Somewhere deep within the station, old circuits glowed with new energy. Systems that had been dormant for centuries had awakened. The station was no longer just a structure of metal and light. It was a living, learning entity, and humans had become its teachers. Lena and Rian reached their living quarters. They removed their boots and sat quietly. Neither spoke at first. The events of the platform replayed in their minds. They had walked carefully. They had influenced the station without even touching a single control panel. This changes everything, Rian finally said. No one will see humans the same way again. Lena nodded slowly. And we haven't even begun to understand what we can do. Far below, the platform remained alive. Tiles adjusted subtly, circuits hummed, and energy flowed quietly through the veins of the station. Every step taken, every movement, had been recorded. The station had learned from humans, and it would not forget. The station had changed, not visibly, not in ways aliens could always see, but in subtle ways that shifted the balance of life. Corridors Lena and Rian walked through now seemed smoother under their steps. Gravity plates adjusted slightly to make walking easier for humans, while other species stumbled or had to recalibrate their movements. Some doors hesitated before opening for aliens, but slid open immediately for humans. It was a quiet, almost invisible shift, yet it was impossible to ignore if one paid attention. Lena noticed it first in the morning, walking to the dining hall. Her boots pressed against the polished floor, and she felt the tiles beneath her feet respond differently. Not dramatically, just enough to feel effortless. She glanced at Rian. He noticed it too. They are favoring us now, he said quietly. The station is helping us. Helping or choosing? Rian's eyes were serious. I think it chooses. It has learned our patterns. It knows us. And it prefers us over others. The station was ancient and enormous, built to house millions of aliens from hundreds of species, and now, silently, it was responding to humans as if they were its center. The thought was thrilling, but also frightening. In the dining hall, aliens whispered to each other. Some noticed that tables adjusted slightly when humans approached, tilting for comfort and balance. Others saw lights pulse subtly in response to footsteps. The Council of Alien Leaders called an emergency meeting. Rumors were spreading that humans could manipulate the station without touching anything. Chiron, The pale scientist who had supervised the previous test addressed the council. It is not manipulation in the way you think. The station is responding instinctively. It has learned from human movement and is adapting to it. Adapting? One alien leader asked, his tone sharp. We are talking about our home. The station belongs to us. How can it respond more to humans than to our species? Because humans are unique. Their movement, their balance, their steps all create patterns that the station recognizes. Others do not trigger the same response. The council murmured uneasily. Many had laughed at humans before. Small, eyes, weak, insignificant. But now their laughter had turned to fear. Something they could not control had emerged. Meanwhile, Lena and Rian continued their routines. Walking through the station had become a careful study. Every corridor seemed to react to them differently. Some floors tilted subtly to align with their steps. Gravity plates adjusted just enough to make walking effortless. Even the lighting responded to their rhythm, brightening slightly with each step, dimming when they paused. You can feel it, right? Lena whispered to Ryan as they moved through a narrow corridor. He nodded. It is subtle, but it is there. Everywhere we go, the station notices us, and it is protecting us, or at least prioritizing us.
Why? Why humans? Rian shook his head.
I don't know. Maybe it has always waited for someone like us. Maybe humans are what it was built for without anyone knowing. That night, they were called to the observation decks above the central hub. Chiron and several engineers had gathered. Screens displayed intricate patterns of energy flowing through the station, highlighting how certain sections responded more strongly to human steps. Look at this, Chiron said, pointing to the screen. Every corridor, every floor panel, every gravity node shows stronger reactions to human movement. The pattern is undeniable. The station favors humans instinctively. Humans were small, physically weak in many ways, yet here they were, exerting influence over the most advanced systems in the galaxy simply by walking. Rian leaned over one console. It is learning faster than we can predict. Soon, it may respond not just to footsteps, but to patterns of thought and balance. If we are careful, we can guide it. If not, we might trigger something dangerous. The alien council watched silently from the background, fear mixed with awe in their expressions. Many had believed humans were weak, incapable of leadership or influence. Now the station itself was proving them wrong. Over the next few days, small incidents began to occur. Gravity plates in corridors shifted when alien species walked through, forcing them to pause or stumble. Doors hesitated for them but opened smoothly for humans. Lights pulsed and flickered along corridors humans had traversed. Some aliens began to avoid humans entirely, sensing an invisible advantage they could not challenge. Lena noticed the changes during routine walks. Floors adjusted to her steps, tilting and shifting to support her balance. The walls seemed to guide her subtly, reflections aligning with her path. Even the air currents moved differently around her, almost as if the station wanted her to move freely. Rian observed her quietly. We are not controlling it consciously. The station is reacting instinctively, but it prefers us.
That is dangerous, Lena. Others will notice.
Some will fear us. Lena understood. The station had turned humans into something significant without their trying. Every step left a mark. Every movement created influence. The power was invisible but undeniable. One evening, as they walked through a long, narrow corridor, an alarm suddenly sounded. Red lights flashed along the walls. Gravity plate shifted abruptly. Lena and Rian stopped immediately. The floor beneath them hummed with energy. Chiron's voice came through a communicator. "Do not panic. We have detected an anomaly in the station's lower sections. Systems are adjusting in response to human movement patterns. It is learning to stabilize itself." Lena swallowed hard. "Stabilize itself?" "Yes," Chiron replied. "The station is anticipating disturbances and adjusting automatically. It reacts faster to human steps than to any other species."
We didn't do anything. We just walked.
"And that is why this is unprecedented. The station prefers humans instinctively." Lights returned to calm blue. Gravity plates aligned. The corridor was stable again. Lena and Rian continued walking, though more cautiously. Every step now felt heavy with responsibility.
Rumors spread quickly among aliens.
Some whispered that humans were dangerous. Others said they were special. Council debates grew louder, mixing fear with curiosity. Aliens who had once laughed at humans now looked at them with suspicion. Meanwhile, Lena and Rian tested the station's reactions in secret. They walked different corridors, varied their pace, changed rhythm. Each movement created subtle changes. Floors tilted slightly. Gravity plates shifted. Lights responded. The station was learning faster than anyone expected. "We need to understand this before anyone else does," Ryan said. "The station will favor humans whether we want it or not. Others will notice. Some may react violently. Then we must walk carefully. Each step is more important than ever." The next morning, Lena walked to the central hub. The lights pulsed softly with each step. Gravity plates adjusted. Doors opened before she reached them. She realized that the station had become an extension of herself. It responded to her instinctively. Rian followed closely, observing.
Tap. Tap.
Tap, tap. Each step left a trace. Each pause left an impression. The station had begun to favor humans openly, and the effect was undeniable. Aliens noticed immediately. Some stopped walking near humans entirely. Others approached cautiously, unsure of what they were witnessing. Whispers spread across the station. Humans were no longer insignificant. Humans were special. Humans could walk where others stumbled. Lena felt the weight of it all. Her species had never been powerful physically. Yet here, in this ancient station, humans mattered more than anyone had imagined. The station itself had elevated them. That night, Lena and Rian sat quietly in their quarters. Neither spoke for a long time. The hum of the station ran softly beneath their feet, almost like a heartbeat.
We are not just walking, Lena said finally. We are teaching it.
Shaping it. And it listens to us in a way it does not listen to anyone else. Rian nodded. Yes? And we must be careful. Some aliens will fear this. Some may try to stop us. But the station cannot be ignored. Not anymore. Far below, the corridors and floors continued to adjust. Gravity plates shifted slightly. Lights pulsed softly. The station remembered every step. It had chosen humans instinctively, and the choice was now evident. Aliens no longer laughed at human steps. Some watched in awe, some in fear. The small, weak species had gained an invisible power, one that could shape the station without touching a single control panel. And Lena understood that this was only the beginning. The station had awakened. Humans had become its favored species, and every step they took from now on would carry significance far beyond what they could imagine. The station shuddered. It was subtle at first, a low vibration running through floors, walls, and ceilings. Lights flickered briefly, then stabilized. Engineers checked systems and reported nothing unusual. But the hum beneath the metal and glass told a different story. Lena and Rian felt it the moment they stepped onto the corridor near the central hub. The air seemed heavier, charged with tension. Something was wrong. Chiron appeared on their communicator. "Anomalies are appearing in the lower decks," he said. "Pressure nodes and energy flows are fluctuating. Some areas may collapse if we do not respond." Lena and Rian exchanged a glance. They both understood what this meant. The station was not just reacting, it was in danger. The lower decks housed critical power systems, life support conduits, and gravity stabilizers. A failure there could cripple the station entirely.
We need to go there, Rian said. We can stabilize it with our movement.
The station responds to humans faster than any system. Lena nodded. "Then we walk, carefully." They moved quickly through the corridors. Tap, tap, tap. The floor beneath them shifted subtly, adjusting to their steps. Gravity plates aligned automatically. Lights pulsed softly with each step, guiding their path. The station seemed to know where they were going, but not yet how far the danger had spread. When they reached the central power conduit, the sight was alarming. Panels had detached slightly, energy arcs flickered dangerously, and the hum of the station had grown into a low roar. Engineers tried to stabilize systems manually, but every attempt triggered further fluctuations. The station itself had begun to react violently, as if resisting interference. Lena stepped forward onto the first unstable panel. Tap, the vibration ran through her boots, then up her legs. The floor shifted slightly beneath her, stabilizing enough to support her. She exhaled slowly. "It is unstable," she said. "Jedi B. Kua. We need to move carefully." Rian followed. Tap, tap, tap. His steps were heavier than Lena's, but he adjusted his balance instinctively. Panels aligned beneath him. The energy arcs hummed less violently, responding to the rhythm of human movement. Chiron and the engineers monitored from above. "Incredible," Chiron whispered. "Every movement stabilizes the system. The station reacts to humans instinctively. No one else could do this." Lena and Rian continued through the conduit corridors. Lights flickered wildly, gravity plates shifted abruptly, but their steps guided the station's response. Tap, tap, tap. Every footfall created subtle energy waves, stabilizing the failing conduits. An alien engineer floated past them, panic written across his features. "This is insane!" he shouted. "The humans are controlling the station without touching a single system." Rian did not respond. He kept walking, adjusting his steps, balancing carefully on the unstable panels. Lena followed, her feet steady and precise. She felt the station beneath her, alive and responsive. It had trusted humans instinctively, and now it relied on them to survive. As they advanced, a massive energy surge hit the platform ahead. Sparks flew from exposed circuits. Gravity plates tilted dangerously. The hum of the station became a roar, vibrating through the entire structure. Lena paused briefly, then moved forward. Tap, tap, tap. Each step sent waves through the platform, stabilizing the energy flows just enough to prevent collapse. Rian followed more cautiously. The panels beneath him creaked under pressure, but they adjusted immediately. The energy arcs stabilized. Gravity plates aligned. The station's response grew stronger as humans advanced, reacting faster than engineers could measure. The aliens watched in awe and fear. "I cannot believe this," one whispered. They are saving the station by walking. Chiron shook his head. We never expected humans to be capable of this. Their evolutionary patterns, their balance, their steps, they trigger a response no other species can produce. They are extraordinary. Lena moved to the next section where critical conduits had begun to bend and warp under the stress. Tap, tap, tap. The floor responded immediately. Gravity plates shifted to counter the energy flows. Lights pulsed, guiding her through the dangerous path. She adjusted her pace, slower and deliberate, to stabilize the most fragile panels. Rian followed closely, stepping in rhythm with her. Tap, tap, tap. The station responded more strongly with their combined patterns. Panels aligned, energy arcs hummed steadily. Gravity plates locked into place. The danger was subsiding, but the station still trembled. Suddenly, a massive surge hit the lower conduit. Sparks flew violently. Alarms blared. Panels lifted into the air, threatening to strike anyone nearby. Lena froze for a moment, then stepped forward. Tap. The vibration ran through her body. The floor shifted slightly under her boots, absorbing the surge. Tap. Tap. She adjusted her balance instinctively. The energy arcs began to stabilize. The tremor lessened. Rian moved after her, careful and precise. Tap, tap, tap. His heavier steps complemented Lena's lighter rhythm. The panels realigned. The energy stabilized further. The hum of the station returned to a low, steady pulse. Chiron's voice came through the communicator, shaky with excitement. They are controlling it. They are stabilizing the station with their movement. It is incredible. Lena and Rian moved together through the conduit corridors, every step precise, every pause calculated. The station's systems responded instantly. Gravity plates, lights, panels, and energy flows aligned perfectly. Engineers could only watch in disbelief. The ancient station, built to house countless species, now responded to humans as its center. Hours passed. Lena and Rian continued moving through the critical areas. The station trembled less with each step. The energy stabilized completely in sections they had passed. Sparks no longer flew. Gravity plates aligned. Lights pulsed calmly. The station was learning from their movements in real time, adjusting itself automatically. Finally, they reached the last unstable section. It was the most dangerous. Power conduits had bent to the point of collapse. Panels floated loose. Sparks danced across exposed wires. Gravity plates tilted sharply, threatening to throw anyone off balance. The station's hum was a deep roar, vibrating through walls and floors. Lena stepped forward carefully. Tap, tap, tap. The floor shifted beneath her, stabilizing just enough to support her. She adjusted her steps instinctively. Each footfall guided the panels and conduits back into alignment. The energy arcs calmed slightly. Gravity plates shifted to compensate for the unstable load. Rian followed, his heavy steps complementing her light rhythm. Tap, tap, tap. Panels realigned. Sparks stopped flying. The station's hum returned to a steady pulse. The aliens watching from above could not believe it. "They are saving the station by walking," one whispered. Chiron's eyes widened. Humans are more capable than we imagined. They do not control systems directly, yet the station responds to them instinctively. They are extraordinary. Lena and Rian moved through the final section, their steps synchronized. Tap, tap, tap. Gravity plates locked in place. Panels aligned. Energy stabilized completely. The hum of the station was calm again. The danger had passed. Lena exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of the moment. They had saved the station without touching a single control panel. The ancient structure, alive in a quiet way, had responded only to humans. Rian smiled faintly. "We did it," he said.
Lena nodded. Yes.
"But the station has changed now. It will remember this." Chiron spoke through the communicator. "It will remember, and it will respond to humans in ways no other species can replicate. Today you have proven something incredible." The aliens watching whispered among themselves. Some stared in awe, some in fear. Humans had once been laughed at. Now they were seen as vital, powerful, and unique. Lena and Rian walked back to the central hub. Tap, tap, tap. The floor responded gently to their rhythm. Gravity plates aligned. Lights pulsed softly. The station hummed quietly beneath them, alive and aware. They reached their living quarters exhausted but calm. Neither spoke for a long time. The hum of the station ran softly through the floors, like a heartbeat.
"We saved it," Lena said finally.
"And we didn't use machines or weapons, just steps. We are small, weak in many ways, but the station responds to humans. It trusts us instinctively. That is more powerful than any weapon." Lena felt a deep connection to the station. Each step she took left a trace. Each step carried influence. The station had learned from humans, and it had survived because of them. The alien council would debate for days. Some would fear humans. Some would admire them. But the truth was undeniable. Humans had stepped into their role, not with strength or force, but with balance, rhythm, and instinct. And the station would never forget. Far below, the conduit corridors hummed quietly. Gravity plates aligned. Panels rested securely. Energy flows pulsed steadily. The station had stabilized itself through humans, and it would respond to them again whenever needed. Lena and Rian sat quietly, removing their boots. They could still feel the station beneath their feet, alive and patient, waiting for the next step, the next movement, the next rhythm that would guide it again. The small, weak species had just proven that strength was not measured by size or force. It was measured by adaptability, instinct, and courage. Humans had walked. The station had listened, and millions of lives had been saved. The station was quiet now, almost peaceful. The hum of energy ran steadily through the floors and walls. Gravity plates aligned perfectly. Lights pulsed calmly, as if breathing with the rhythm of life inside the ancient structure. For the first time in days, the corridors seemed safe to walk without fear of sudden fluctuations or alarms. Lena and Rian moved through the main halls, boots clicking softly against polished floors. Every step carried confidence now. The station had learned from them, responded to them, and stabilized because of them. They had saved it, and in doing so, they had changed everything. Aliens watched them with a mix of awe, fear, and respect. Some whispered quietly in their native tongues, pointing toward the humans walking through the corridors. Others avoided the paths entirely, unsure how to approach or interact without triggering subtle reactions they could not control. Chiron, the pale scientist who had first guided their tests, followed discreetly. He studied the patterns on his screen, noting how each step Lena took caused the floors, panels, and energy conduits to respond. "No one has ever seen this," he muttered. "A species so small can influence a structure this vast, this ancient, It is unprecedented. Lena noticed him but did not speak. She had grown accustomed to the station's reactions. Every step she took left a trace. Every step carried weight beyond her size or strength. The station responded instinctively to her balance, her rhythm, her presence. It had accepted humans as something essential, something it had waited for. Rian walked beside her. "The council will meet soon," he said quietly. "They will want to discuss what happened. Some will fear us. Some will admire us. But the truth is clear. The station trusts humans. It listens to us, not commands, not force, just moving, being human." As they reached the central hub, the alien leaders assembled in the observation gallery. Their expressions ranged from skepticism to fear. Some had believed humans to be weak. Some had laughed at them. Now they could no longer deny what had occurred. The station itself had responded to humans in ways no other species could replicate. Chiron addressed the council. "Humans have demonstrated capabilities we did not anticipate." The station responded instinctively to their movement patterns. Their steps stabilized critical systems and prevented a disaster. It is clear that humans are compatible in ways no one else is. A tall alien delegate stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Compatible?" They walked, and the station reacted? How is that possible? They are small, weak, insignificant in every measure, and yet, Chiron hesitated. The station has mechanisms we do not fully understand, but it recognizes humans. It prioritizes humans. That is why it responded so effectively.
We can study it, but we cannot replicate it. Humans are
Essential. Some aliens were afraid. Others looked thoughtful, perhaps even envious. Humanity had changed the balance of power in a quiet, invisible way. Small, weak, insignificant species had become central to the station's very function. Lena and Rian remained silent, observing. They did not need recognition. They only needed to understand the station's trust and respond to it responsibly. Every step they had taken, every panel they had stabilized, had reinforced that trust. Later, Lena walked along the upper corridors alone. Tap, tap, tap. The lights pulsed gently under her rhythm. Gravity plates aligned. Air currents shifted subtly to make her path easier. The station seemed to guide her steps, not forcefully, but with quiet encouragement. She felt the full weight of her species' potential. Humans were no longer insignificant. They were vital, and the station acknowledged it. Rian approached, footsteps light on the polished floor. Tap, tap, tap. "Do you feel it?" he asked quietly. "The station is shaping itself around us now. Every corridor, every panel, every system responds to us instinctively." Lena nodded. "It is learning faster than we can imagine, and it will remember. Every step we take now leaves a permanent mark." In the human living quarters, small monitors displayed data streams. Engineers recorded the station's reactions to human movement. Energy flows, gravity adjustments, light pulses. Everything responded to their presence. Humans could now navigate the station with a subtle influence no other species had. They could stabilize dangerous systems simply by walking, by balancing, by being human. Word spread quickly. Aliens no longer laughed at human steps. Some observed with awe, some with fear. Humans became the new standard for stability. Delegates began consulting humans when planning major station operations. Floors, panels, and conduits seemed to respond more efficiently when humans were present. Lena understood the responsibility. Each step she took mattered. Each movement shaped the station. Ah! She was no longer walking for herself alone. She was walking for her species. Every step carried influence, guidance, and protection. Rian stood beside her as they entered the central hub again. Rian stood beside her as they entered the central hub. Again, lights pulsed gently beneath their feet. Gravity plates shifted subtly to align with their weight. The station itself seemed to welcome them. "We have a role now," he said softly. "We are not just passengers. We are guides. And we must walk carefully. Every step counts." Discussions were long and tense. Some delegates wanted to restrict human movement, fearing too much influence. Others argued that humans were essential for the station's stability. Evidence from the power failure and recovery was undeniable. Humans had saved the station without touching a single control panel. Their steps alone had guided systems back to equilibrium. Kyrene summarized the findings. Humans are unique. Their evolutionary patterns allowed them to stabilize the station instinctively. We cannot replicate it. We cannot ignore it. The station prioritizes humans in a way it does not for any other species. They are essential. Lena and Rian listened quietly. The council's debates were important, but the station's acknowledgement was already clear. Every corridor, every floor panel, every gravity plate remembered the humans who had walked them. The energy flows pulsed in rhythm with human movement. Humans were no longer weak. Humans were vital. That evening, Lena walked alone through the upper levels. Tap, tap, tap. Lights pulsed gently beneath her feet. Gravity plates shifted subtly to support her. The station hummed in quiet rhythm. She realized that humanity had changed the balance of power, not through force or weapons, but through presence, adaptability, and instinct. Rian joined her, steps light and careful. Tap, tap, tap. "The station listens," he said quietly, "and it remembers. We are part of it now. We guide it with every step."
Lena smiled faintly. "Then we must walk carefully."
Every corridor, every tile, every step matters. Aliens continued to watch. Some observed with awe, realizing that humans had achieved something impossible. Others approached cautiously, still unsure of what it meant. But one thing was clear. Humans had proven their value, not through strength, not through weapons, but through movement, instinct, and balance. In the deepest corridors, the station's systems pulsed quietly, aligned perfectly with human steps. Gravity plates adjusted automatically. Lights brightened and dimmed in rhythm. Energy conduits flowed steadily. The station had fully recognized humans as essential. Lena and Rian walked through the halls together. Ah! Tap, tap, tap. The floor shifted to guide them. The station hummed with a quiet energy, alive and patient, responding instinctively to their rhythm. They reached the central hub. Lights pulsed gently. Gravity plates aligned. The hum of energy ran steadily. Engineers and aliens observed quietly, realizing that the human steps had become a standard for the station. Chiron spoke softly, almost to himself. "They have redefined what it means to be powerful, not by size, not by force, but by instinct, balance, and adaptability. The station recognizes them. They are extraordinary." Lena and Rian removed their boots and sat quietly, feeling the subtle vibrations beneath the floor. The station had trusted them, relied on them, and learned from them. Humans had walked through danger and stabilized the most critical systems without touching a single control panel. Every step carried influence, guidance, and protection. The station would never forget. Aliens no longer laughed at human footsteps. Humans had become a species of influence, vital to the survival and operation of the ancient station. The small, weak species had walked where others could not, stabilized where others could not, and shaped the very structure that had once ignored them. Lena stood slowly and walked through the central hub. Tap, tap, tap. The station responded with perfect rhythm. Every light pulse, every gravity adjustment, every subtle shift, a recognition of human presence. Rian followed. Tap, tap, tap. Together, their steps created harmony with the ancient living structure. The universe had observed humans long before, but now, in this station, humanity had proven itself in the simplest, most profound way, by walking. And the station had listened, and the station would always remember.